Hello my friends and welcome back to another episode of Chess with Konstantin. In this lesson number 7 of the Fun of Attack, we are going to be continuing our discussion of the mobile center. Now recall the core concepts of the mobile pawn center are to use your central pawns in order to find ways to attack. And the opponent, the person who lacks the mobile pawn center, must find ways either to blockade the pawns or to begin some kind of action or attack on the flank. It is very important to have the initiative in these kinds of positions, because if you're the one attacking, then all your opponent will have time to do is defend, and they won't have time to organize their own attack. This game, I am decided to skip the opening once again, and we are starting on move 17. And we have Moiseev as the white pieces and Vuchinkin as the black pieces. This was played in Moscow Championship in 1979. In this position, keeping in mind the themes of the mobile center, it seems like black's king might be safe, but as you will soon see, this is not the case. So white begins with pawn to f3. A very important move that is trying to deflect black's pawn from the center so we can begin our advances. And also, very critically, we are trying to open up this f file for our rook with the nice double attack on the f7 square. So e takes f3, otherwise you just lose a pawn. And that's kind of, you may as well resign the game if that happens. We have queen takes f3. Now we have 3 pieces pointed at this critical f7 square. And I'll give you a couple seconds to find a good move here for black. So go ahead and consider what you would play if you were black in this position. Okay, for those of you who decided that you're going to play queen takes e3 check, this is incorrect. Here is why. If you were to play queen takes e3 check here, then white will capture the queen. And after rook takes e3, then you have rook takes f7 with this very nice discovered check threat. So now the threat is, for example, rook takes d7 check. And really the king has to come back to h8, because otherwise, for example, if you capture a pawn here, then you just have rook takes d7 with check from the bishop. And if rook takes the bishop, then you just have an intermediate move, and you're going to be a whole rook up as white. So this is not possible to allow. So after king comes to h8, then you just have bishop b5 attacking this knight and threatening mate. So this is very unpleasant for black, and this is the reason why instead of capturing here on e3, black decided to play the natural move knight to f6. It's a much better move. It blocks white's attack here on the f square and develops the knight. Also develops the bishop, or sets up the development of the bishop. So then we have pawn to e4. The idea is to kick, move our mobile center up, kick the defensive piece, and try to attack the f7 square. Then we have bishop to g4. Bishop to g4 looks like a good move, but it actually loses tempi. So it was better to play here, for example, bishop to e6, trying to exchange this very dangerous bishop for our less active one. And if after bishop e6 we had a move like d5, then actually black is better here. You just retreat the bishop to d7. And now, for example, the advance e5 is no longer possible because you just take the pawn. You know, bishop e6 was much better. But okay, we have the move bishop g4, white decided to play queen to g3. Now the threat is, for example, rook takes f6, queen takes f6, and queen takes g4, winning the exchange. Also a threat is e5, chasing this knight and then capturing the bishop. So black decided to prevent this by playing bishop to h5. Then we have pawn e5, attacking the knight and unblocking this very nice attack on the f7 square. Also the threat is going to be to bring the a rook over to e1 with very strong activity, putting it behind the pawn and attacking the queen indirectly. So we have knight to d7, losing more time. Now knight to e4, an excellent move. You want all your pieces to be in the game attacking, and notice black's piece on knight on d7 is quite passive. Black's bishop is defending, but it can be kicked away at any time. We have a rook that's completely out of play. In contrast, white's rook on a1 can be brought in very easily. So it's very clear here that white has the advantage, and in situations like this you should be putting your rooks behind your pawns and looking for opportunities to advance, to break down your opponent's structure. In this case, white should be looking for the break e6 to try to further attack the vulnerable f7 square. So here black played bishop to g6, trying to position the bishop to attack the knight, to block white's activity. But it's not the best move, because now we have knight to g5. Now the knight is again attacking the f7 square, and we have 3 attackers to black's 3 defenders, but it's not looking very pleasant right now for black. So black plays rook to f8 to try to defend the f7 square, but now we have the critical move. Drum roll, ladies and gentlemen. Pawn to e6. This move attacks the f7 squares for the 4th time, also forks the knight, and now black, after thinking for quite a long time, elected to play the defensive move knight to e5. I'm sure that none of you have seen this move. It looks very unexpected. So the idea behind this move is that now if, for example, white decides to take the knight with the pawn, then simply we have queen to c5 check, and after the king moves, then you just recapture the piece. Also, if white takes this with the queen, then it's also not that great, because now we have pawn to f6, forking the queen and the knight will be recaptured. So white is actually better here, but you know, black can maybe hold this position. So, but after knight to e5, instead of doing either of these things, white decides to capture on f7. So we have pawn takes f7 check, and now knight captures on f7, and we have rook a to e1, an excellent move, bringing in the final passive piece into the game. It's going to be very difficult and quite impossible to defend this position as black now. So let's see how the game progressed. We have queen to d7, natural move, moving the queen out of the way. Then we have queen to h4. Now the threat is to capture on f7 to try to deflect this bishop, and then you have potentially queen takes h7, either with the checkmate or with a very strong attack. So we have rook b to e8. Black thought that maybe with this threat of rook takes rook, that now it's not possible to capture on f7 any longer. But unfortunately, black was wrong. Now we have rook takes f7 anyway. allowing this rook takes rook check. And the reason why black cannot play it is if black does try to play rook takes e1 check, then we have an excellent move, rook to f1 with a discovered check from the bishop on c4, and white will simply pick up this piece for free in the next move. So black, after playing this and rook captured on f7, black realized that taking the rook was impossible and played rook takes f7. But now we have bishop takes f7 check, bishop takes f7, queen takes h7 check, king f8, and now not queen to h8, even though it's also winning, but rook to f1 with a phenomenal double attack on this bishop. And now it's not possible to defend. For example, if you try to play rook e7, then you have a mate here on h8. So in this position, black player, talented master from Moscow, resigned the game. And ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've learned that the concept of a mobile center is very important, and it's very important when you do have a center like this to find ways to advance your central pawns so they can participate in the attack. So here you should be able to find the natural move pawn to f3 just intuitively and immediately because of that multi-purpose nature that move serves. So f3 deflects black's pawn and attacks on the semi-open f file. So as long as you can find this idea after watching the video, I am quite happy with you. Thank you very much, and next time I'm looking forward to showing you the wonders of the third type of center, the closed pawn center. See you next time, and Konstantin out.